recording. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our lesson 2 of C# beginners course. Today we'll be talking about Visual Studio IDE, and at the end of the class, I would just do a quick demo on how to navigate around the whole IDE stuff. So topics for today would be basically what an IDE is, common IDEs for .NET development, then reasons why you would choose this Visual Studio as your IDE. Then I would walk you guys on the steps in installing your Visual Studio, and then finally do a brief demo on how it's been done. Okay. All right. So guys, let's start with this word you hear a lot, IDE. I don't know. Has anyone heard of this term before, IDE? Can someone tell me what an IDE is in your own term? Yeah, aside the definition you see it. Precious, have you heard of IDE before? Precious, Steve.
Yes, I have. I actually use it.
Oh,
An IDE is basically, yeah, I would just call it a tool for programming.
all right. Thank you very much. So IDE, the name implies, it stands for Integrated Development Environment, right? So in simple terms, that's one powerful application you install that lets you do so many things, right? Things like writing code, testing it, or organizing your work neatly all in one place, right? So you can think of this ID as, let's say, a Nigerian kitchen or kitchen where instead of cooking in one room or washing dishes in another or storing food somewhere else, imagine a kitchen that has your cooker, your fridge, your sink, your cupboard all in one place. That is what an IDE does for a developer. So with an IDE, you do so many things all in one place, right? So Red Hat defines it nicely as a software for building applications that combines developer tools into a single GUI. GUI stands for graphic user interface, what you can actually see and interact with. And with an IDE, your work is more organized. You know where your files are. You can easily switch between different parts of your project, and you can get real-time feedbacks when something is wrong with your code. So all this you will see when we demo the whole stuff, right? All right, examples of IDEs. We have different kinds of IDEs, right, that have their various purpose. So we're going to talk about few of them, right? The first one, like I've said, is the Visual Studio, which you will be using for this course. It is a very popular IDE for C# development. It comes with lots of built-in tools for writing code, debugging, and even working with databases, right? You don't need to worry yourself about this whole stuff I'm saying. When we go deep into it, you see everything, how everything plays out, okay? Let me know when I can, whether I'm still heard. Can I still be heard?
Yes.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So next one is Visual Studio Code. I guess everyone is familiar with this. It's a very lighter and fast star IDE, which is used mostly by the front end, right? Yeah, front end used that a lot. Next one we have is the Code Anywhere. This one runs in your browser. So assuming you don't want to install an IDE, you want to use the one that is in the browser, you can actually use the Code Anywhere for that. So we have other editors like the Atom, the Notepad, or um Notepad++, right? All these has their various use cases and all, okay? All right. So reasons for choosing Visual Studio. Why would I want to use Visual Studio, right? That's the question. Why would I want to use Visual Studio? All right. So let's talk about why we would want to use the Visual Studio and not just any code editor like Notepad and all. So Visual Studio is like that. You can see it as a very, very big machine that does so many, many things, right? Inside. So because it does so many things, like building huge applications, that is the reason why we would want to use it in our project and all, right? So the first reason is it can help us build application games and extensions using wide range of languages. In Visual Studio, in Visual Studio, we see a lot of programming language that can help us in building different applications. We see F Sharp, Python, there is C Sharp, there is JavaScript, TypeScript, everything, all languages are inbuilt in the Visual Studio, which helps us to build applications and all, right? Then it comes packed with features that makes your work faster. So when I say makes your work faster, we talk about IntelliSense, right? IntelliSense has to do with it helps us suggest code as you type, right? When you type on the IDE, there are some English terms or words that you don't need to type it to the end. It will just suggest the remaining part of the words for you to just complete, right? So that's what it does for you, okay? Then Visual Studio also helps you organize your project, like I said, and solution. Or like, let's say you are working on a school portal, right? You are asked to build a software for a school. So there might be one project for the front end and there will be another project for the back end. So Visual Studio helps you organize your code and makes it look organized and neater and all. Okay. Before I proceed, does anyone have any question? I hope I'm not too fast. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So among others, we have other reasons why you would want to use Visual Studio is for integration with visual control. Assuming you want to store your work, your project in the cloud so it doesn't get missing. Yeah, it provides you with that feature and or then lots of extension available. There are lots of extensions you can install to boost productivity and makes your work faster. And you can also use it for unit testing, for so many things, right? Mm. Okay, so installing and configuring C Sharp in Visual Studio. So I'm just going to show you how, before I proceed, has anyone installed the Visual Studio IDE? Who has installed it? Can I see your hands? Sorry about the background noise. Everyone has installed it, right? Who has not installed it? Okay, if you have not installed it, raise your hand. If you have not installed it, raise your hand. Okay, Duncan has not installed it. Okay, Duncan, why haven't you installed the Visual Studio IDE?
Um,
And noise is
so I
echoing.
I actually downloaded it, but when I wanted to install it, it was saying something like um that my processing so my operating system does not support this version. Yes, I'm using
Okay,
Windows 10 Pro, so I don't know what.
okay. All right. So, aside Duncan, who else is experiencing difficulty in installing it? All right, it's only Duncan. All right, Duncan, maybe after the class, we can meet by 10 p.m. Will you be free by 10 p.m.? So I will just guide you on how to go about it.
Okay, sir.
All
I'll
right.
reach out to you.
Okay, that's fine. Right. So it's assumed everyone here has installed it. Okay. So these are the steps and guiding you on how to install it. You visit the link and you choose the community. All these are just to guide you on how to go about installing the IDE Visual Studio. Okay. So these are the pictures that will just guide you. Once you are done installing the necessary extension and all, you would see this UI here, which would tell you to just launch. You have to click on launch to open it. Okay. These are extensions or framework you would need for your journey as you're practicing C Sharp, right? So you would need the ASP.NET. Once you install it and download it, you'll be asked to choose which framework to use. So you have to click ASP.NET and web development. You have to click this one. You have to choose um these two, just these two for now, ASP.NET web development and .NET desktop development. You don't need to bother yourself with Node.js because we are all about C Sharp, right? Then as well, you don't need to bother yourself about this for now. Okay, so just these two, ASP.NET and web development and .NET desktop development. All right. Getting started with C Sharp development, getting started with C Sharp development and all. So in a nutshell, everything about getting started with C Sharp development, Visual Studio is all about you clone a repository, you open the project solution, you open local folder, you create a new project and all. Okay. I would still come back to this. Let's proceed to the next slide, right? So for the getting started, right? In the getting started, there's what we call solution, right? These are terms used when you're working with Visual Studio. So it's important you understand the terms so that when you go into using Visual Studio IDE, it won't be strange to you, okay? So let's break all this down. We'll talk about solution. So think of this solution like a big, big problem, right? Using code. So it's more like a full package that contains everything needed for your project. So assuming you are asked to build an application for a university, right? That's huge application. Maybe you're asked to give it a name. You can give the name school management system, right? The school management system is actually the solution in your Visual Studio, right? So inside that, the school management system, you will have different sub-projects that are taking care of different things. So what I mean is you can have one project that handles maybe the teachers, then another project that handles the students, then another project that handles classrooms or courses and all, right? So a solution, we can have one solution and one solution can have many projects. I hope I'm not confusing anyone. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
All
clear.
right. All right. So one solution can have
Yes, sir.
many projects and all. Okay. A component of the solution. All right. So repository, like I said, Visual Studio comes with the feature that helps to store our projects in the cloud. So repository, cloning a repository, this is where you've written the code, it's working fine, but you want to actually create a repository in GitHub to store your code so that if in case of anything, you would still have access to your code in the cloud. So this is where repository comes in. Okay, don't need to bother yourself with this for now. When we go into version control, you would understand that clearer. Then we have the version control, we have the Git and IntelliSense, which just helps make our coding experience amazing. Okay. All right. So next is practical examples of key Visual Studio project types and version control. So as a beginner, right, you've opened Visual Studio. The first place you need to go to start your practice and all is what we call the console application, right? The console application is the first project type beginners would work with just to get their hands dirty, just to get good, just to practicalize the syntax, get used to the syntax and all you get. So console application is usually your starting point. It runs in a simple black window and it's great for learning how code works without distractions and all. So that is what we'll be doing for now until maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. We'll just be playing around with the console application. We have the class library. So you have class libraries. They don't run directly, right? But they hold reusable codes like tools you can plug into other projects. So what I mean is this: class library is more like assuming you're asked to write a program that adds to number 1 + 1, which is 2, right? So there are two ways to it. You can actually write the code that would add the two number 1 + 1, which is equal to 2, or you can take someone else code. Maybe assuming Marian was asked to design the logic or design the program that adds to number 1 + 1 = 2. She does that and it's working fine. Now Emmanuel was asked to design that same program to add 1 and 2. Emmanuel doesn't need to re-implement the same code Marian has implement, right? So all Emmanuel needs to do is to import or get the library, right, that Marian has implemented and use it in his own problem. Did I confuse someone?
No, sir.
Sir, please repeat. Sorry.
All right. You are asked to maybe you are asked to find the area of a circle, right? What's the area of a circle? Pi r square, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're asked to find the area of a circle, pi r square, and area of a circle is pi r square. You design the code that would multiply pi times r square, which is r times r. Okay. Now, Emmanuel was given that same problem to write that same code, which is doing what? Find the area of the circle, right? Now, I don't want to go through that same process. Emmanuel shouldn't go through the same process Marian did by just writing the code that just do pi times r times r. So instead of re-implementing or redoing it again, all I just need to do is get the library that does that, right? I could give the library Marian library. So whenever I import Marian library, I know that this Marian library is doing what? Is actually multiplying pi times r, meaning I don't need to rewrite what Marian has implemented. That is the whole essence of class library, reusable codes and all, so that your friend doesn't need to re-implement or reinvent the wheel by doing it again. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, right, thanks. Next, we have the test project, which helps to ensure your code works correctly by automatically checking its behavior. So you've written the code and all, and you're written the code that does what? That adds number 1 plus 1, which is 2. You have to write as a C# developer, right? It's best practice that whatever code you write, you need to write test cases for it. So the reason for the test cases, if someone else comes to the code and maybe by mistake he or she, maybe he touches something that had to do with that addition logic in the code. Before that code is pushed, right? Before that code is sent, before that code is pushed, right? The person will be forced to run the test, right? I know this is going to confuse some of us. So I don't want to go deep into that now because this might confuse some of us, but I just want to let you know that it's very important that for every code you write, you should write test cases for it. This is just an introduction to it, right? So when we go into the test project proper, you would understand better. Okay? But just know that it's very important to write test cases for your codes and all. Okay? Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So before we go, okay, questions, and let's go into the demo and also that I will just show you guys everything about Visual Studio and all. So assuming you have installed it, you open it now, and this is what you see when you launch your Visual. Can you, okay, let me share this screen. Sorry. Come in. Okay. Can you see my Visual Studio?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So you launch it, and this is what you see when you launch your Visual Studio. Okay. This open recent is just showing you, displaying you the files you have worked with previously, like before now. So over here, we have the clone a repository. This is where you actually want to get someone else code from GitHub, or you want to get your own code that you have stored on GitHub. You just want to get it back. Maybe you misplaced your laptop and you just got a new one and you want to get, okay, Precious, go ahead. Yeah, Precious, go ahead.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So when I open the Visual Studio, since she sign in using Microsoft GitHub or create an account, can we pick anyone or is there a specific one we need to?
Do you have a GitHub?
Yes.
Okay, you can use GitHub now to sign up then. Right? But if you have any challenge, just let me know now. You can drop it on the Discord and I'll get back to you. Okay? All right. So we have clone a repository, then which does that, then open a project or solution. This is where you have worked on something, you have saved it on your machine, your system, and maybe you launch back your Visual Studio and you want to reopen what you worked on. So you can actually click on this. Then we have open a local folder. This you can, which is the same thing as this solution and all. Then create a new project. This is you wanting to develop a school management system for the first time. So this is the first place you go to, creating a new project. And this is what everyone should do when they have launched their own Visual Studio. Okay, so we'll create a new project. All right. So when you click the create a new project, C#, this is one of the amazing things I really love about Visual Studio, right? Remember when I talked about reasons why you would use Visual Studio is that it comes with so many languages. You can use so many languages to build your application. C Sharp, TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, everything. You can use Visual Studio to do that. So over here, we have all languages that Visual Studio can, you can use Visual Studio to build applications. We have, if you check here, we have C Sharp, C++, F Sharp, JavaScript, Python, query language, TypeScript, Visual Basic, XAML. So all this, you can use Visual Studio to build whatever you want to build, okay? Then platforms, we have Android, Azure, iOS, Linux, and Windows, Xbox, meaning whatever application you build is going to support these platforms, Android, Azure, and the likes. Then all project types is now the whole goal of our beginner C Sharp, right, is to be able to, at the end of the 3-month course, you should be able to do or build endpoints. You should be able to build APIs. So the front end will be able to consume and interact with what your database and your backend, right? So the end goal is actually for you to be able to build APIs. So there are project types that have been that is already in Visual Studio that will help you to build this API. So one of them is the API project type, which helps you to do that, right? So we have other project types. We have the Blazor. Blazor has to do with, let's say you can actually use your Visual Studio to build both back end and front end. Yeah, it's very possible. So you can use Blazor for that. Then cloud, you can use common console. We have console project type. Like I said, as a beginner, your first project type you'll be working with is actually the console project type. So that is what you would work with to get your hands dirty and all. So we have desktop project type for those who wants to build desktop applications. Like when I mean desktop application, I'm talking about WhatsApp. We have WhatsApp desktop application. We have who can mention some other desktop applications, someone else mention aside WhatsApp desktop
Zoom.
application. Yeah, Zoom application. What else?
Mm, we have
Okay,
um,
Sombra.
Slack application,
All
Slack
right,
desktop
Slack.
application.
Yeah, Slack desktop application. So all those are desktop application. And if a client meets you, like, hey, Tombra, I want you to build a Slack desktop application for me. The first place you need to go to is actually the project type, which is desktop, which has the features to help you do that. Okay. Then extensions, you want to install some extensions that will help you carry out or execute your project and all extension. This is where we go to. Then games for the game developers. You can use C# to do so many things. You can use C# to do so many things. Build games, web application, desktop application, even blockchain. Yeah, you can use C# to do that. Then we have the IoT libraries, the class libraries, where you have to create those reusable codes so that Emmanuel can use it without reinventing the wheel. You can actually create a library that you know is going to be used somewhere else, okay? Machine learning, C# can be used for that. Mobile development, C# can be used for that. Microsoft test and unit test, all these are for testing. Like I said, what makes you a very, very good developer is the ability to write testing, right? Test cases for your code implementation, right? So there are project types for that, which is the Microsoft test and unit test and all. Then Office Order Playwright. I've not used this before. Service SQL for your database, test your web API. There are so many that would help you execute your tasks and all. Before I proceed, any question? All right, no question. So now we are starting, and like I said, first project type you'll be working with is what? The console app. So eventually you open your own Visual Studio and you don't see this console app, you could just come to the search for template and type console app, and you would see it. Okay, we have console app for C Sharp, console app for Visual Basic, then Visual Basic F Sharp, right? But you have to select this one that is specifically for C Sharp, and that is what we would use. So I would click on it, double tap. Yeah, you double tap on it. It takes us to this where we need to give the project a name, right? So you can just give it console app one, then solution name, right? Like I said, what is the difference between solution and project? Let me speak who to ask before I proceed. Precious Udobok. Sorry, I did not pronounce your name well. What's the difference between a solution and a project? Okay, because of time, I would. Okay. Do you want to answer?
Yes, sir. Right.
All right. What's the difference between project and solution?
That a project is like a problem, like it's not answered. Like I don't know how to put it. But a
Okay, give an
solution is
example.
uh like creating a problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Who else want to help? Thank you, Precious. All right, Samuel.
Okay, just as you said earlier, you said that a solution is just like having a basic application, let's say a student management system, just like we are solving this solution. Whereas the project,
Okay.
just like the different components of the solution, let's say the students, the students,
Mm,
the student, the teachers, the staffs. That's just like a different section of the solution. That's what the project is.
okay. All right. That Precious, do you understand that? But if you don't, I can actually draw a diagram that represents that. I don't mind doing that. Tombra, you want to say something? All right. Okay, Ede Gift, go ahead. Your hands is raised.
The second person has answered the question correctly.
Okay, okay. So the solution is the parent. You can see it as the parent of what? The project, right? The solution, you can have just one solution, right? One solution, many projects. One solution, like maybe you are to build a road transportation application. Maybe that's the name of the application, road transportation application. That name, that is actually the solution name. So inside the road application transportation, we can have subdivision that are doing different things. We can have one project name that may be handling the location of the state, or another project that is handling the people, or another project that is handling the kind of routes in that location. Do you get? Right. So one solution, many projects. Just take note of that. So we are giving it our name, then the solution name, you can just give it a solution name, say um, C sharp, C sharp. Let's give it a name, C sharp practice. So C sharp practice can have many project names with console app 1, console app 2, like that, like that. Then location is more like, where do I want to save this solution in my laptop, in my computer, right? So assuming this is my desktop. This is my folder. I want to actually save this inside here. Also, all I just need to do is to choose the folder. This is the folder. KodeCamp is the name of the folder. I want to save that solution and click submit. So assuming you are asked to build a hospital management system, you just need to create a folder and we call it hospital management system. Then inside there, you store your solution that is relating to that hospital management system. Okay, so I'm choosing KodeCamp for my folder. Then, all right. So after that, you click next. If you check the bottom right corner, you see next. So for those that might be looking for where the next button is, it's here. So you click next and it takes you to where you're going to choose the frameworks you want to use and all. So speaking about these frameworks, right? Before now, we had there were frameworks that we were using to develop applications. It started with framework 1, we had 1.2, 2.3, 3.4, 4.5, 5 points, we had 6 points, 7 points, 8 points, and all, right? So there will be a time when this framework there would be a different, it's going to upgrade to maybe .NET 10 and 11. So I want to tell you the difference between where you see long-term support, then standard term support, right? The long-term support is something, it's the framework that would, it's when you see long-term support, it means it's going to be supported for a very long time, right? Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, right? Then standard term support could mean it's something that is not really certain, okay? So as a developer, right, it's always advised to choose the long-term support. So the reason between choosing this long-term support and standard term support is because if you choose a .NET framework, let's say assuming you choose .NET 9, right, instead of .NET 8, you have built the whole application and all, you have completed it, right? If .NET 9 is not supported again, it means it's going to affect that application, right? So it's always best to choose the long-term support and all, so that whatever you're building, it's when there is a change or an upgrade, not going to affect you. You will see all that when we go deeper. Okay, so we'll be using .NET 8, which is a long-term support, right? So choose this when you open yours. Then do not use top level statements. Do not use top. Okay, their gift, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Gift. Gift, go ahead.
Okay, sir. So you were saying something concerning the long-term support and the standard one. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't get it right.
Okay. When selecting the framework to use, you have to choose the long-term support. So the reason for choosing long-term support is support has to do with we have Microsoft or we have some higher institutions that are kind of supporting the frameworks or the extensions we are using. So what happens if, for example, what happens if Microsoft decide not to support that framework? You notice that if you want to use a particular extension and that is not supported by Microsoft and all, it's going to affect your application. That's why I said it's best to choose the long-term support. When you see this long-term support, it's confirmed that Microsoft or those higher bodies would support this framework up to the end. Do you get?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's proceed. Okay, Tombra, go ahead.
Hi, coach. So, I couldn't install this, and I want to leverage VS Code. So, I'm a bit lost because I'm not following what you are doing. I don't know if you're going to have like a separate tutorial for those with VS Code.
Okay. VS Code, VS Code, VS Code. Yeah, you can actually use VS Code for C Sharp, but the disadvantage is that the advantage of using this Visual Studio is that you don't need to install those extra packages, right? Like maybe the SQL database that comes with Visual Studio or the extensions that will help you to run your code effectively, right? So many extensions that came in as you installed Visual Studio, but with Visual Studio Code, once you have to install the extension for that supports C Sharp, you have to install the code runner for C Sharp, you have to install the database for C Sharp, you have to install so many things, which is going to be stressful to you. I've not tried it before, but I think we can have a section on that to guide you on how to go about that. Is
All
that
right.
clear?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, and recently, for those who are using Linux, Mac, and all, I think you can't actually install Visual Studio for that. That has been stopped before now, so it's just Windows. Yeah. Okay. So do not use top level statement. I'm going to talk about this. So what I'm going to do is, this is very important, so just pay attention. So what I'm going to do is I would create this stuff using do not use top level statements, right? So let it be like this. I want to create this now. So I will now click on create. Okay. Right. It's creating. Just hold on. Let's stop as the virtual window is closed. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Like the Visual Studio. Can you see my Visual Studio?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Let me come back. Let me go and share again. Sorry. Okay. All right. How about now? Can you see my Visual Studio?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is what we see when we choose that Visual Studio. Do not use Visual Studio top statement and or I'll explain that. So first of all, let me explain this part, right? Now, if you look closely, you see that everything here is wrapped inside a namespace, right? We can see the namespace. So in this case, console app one, right? Now, what is a namespace, right? A namespace is just a way to group your code logically, right? You can actually think of it like naming folders in your laptop to organize different files. So just as the same way you actually create folder, right? Those folder names is the same as the namespace. So in Visual Studio, the folder is regarded as namespace. So it's either you call it folder or you call it namespace. There's the same thing. That C Sharp, when you hear someone say namespace in your mind, just know that it's a container or a folder containing some other content. You get, right?
Yes.
All right. So then we have the class called the program, right? In C Sharp, everything, like every file we create starts with a class. This is a class, internal class program. Every file we create, if I decide to create another file, right, that file is actually a class. So this is the main one your program will run, right? Okay. every programming language
Oh,
has.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get.
All right. I said every file you create, instead of saying that is a file in C# in Visual Studio, that file is actually a class. So just take note of that. If I decide to create, okay, let me do this first. Hold on. I have to share this other screen. I'm coming, just hold on. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Right. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So this is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. You can see my Explorer, my file Explorer, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. So what I mean by every file you create is the normal way you create a file in your Explorer, like you right click and you create a folder. This folder you're creating is actually the namespace. This is the namespace in Visual Studio. For every folder you create, right? That is known as a namespace in Visual Studio. Is that clear?
Yes.
Good. Then when you change the directory into the new folder and you create a file, when we talk about file has to do with, it can be .txt or .html or .js, which is JavaScript. Those are files that has extensions, right? So if you create a file, right, every file you create is known as class in Visual Studio or in C#. Every file you create when dealing with C# is regarded as a class. So if I'm creating a text document, this text document has extension .txt, right? New document.txt. So if I create this file in C#, that is actually a class. Is that clear?
Yes, that is clear.
All right. The lady that asked that wasn't clear. Is it clear to you now? Hello? Okay, she's not answering me. Okay, let's proceed. So, like I said, every programming language has an entry point, right? So in C#, our entry point is what? The main, right? This is for every program you run. Every program you run, no matter how large it is, there must be what? An entry point, right? And that entry point in C# is actually the main, and the main is also inside the program. Okay, every programming language has their respective entry point. So the main method is the entry point when dealing with C#. Okay, so you can think of it like the front door to your house. Before you enter your house, you must pass through the front door. So that is how it is in programming, in languages, different programming languages and all. Then finally, inside the method, we have the console.write line, which is the hello world. So this line will simply print hello world on the screen, right? So like I said, we'll be doing a lot of testing using our console project type. So now I want to know, this is the beauty of Visual Studio now, right? And C# and programming, right? I want to test this out, right? I want to know if this is working fine, okay? Assuming I've written the code, console.writeLine means print whatever you see here to the console, right? You are going to see how the console looks like. The console looks like a very black screen that displays text or numbers or whatever you want it to display, right? So whatever you put within this double quote, that is what is going to display in your console. So if you are able to see this text in your console, then know that the code is working fine because you have written something down and the expected output is what you wanted to see. Do you understand? Hello?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Yes, sir.
Great. So assuming I've written this code and I want to test this out if it's actually what's going to show hello world to the command, to the console. After writing this, next question is how am I going to test this out? Where am I going to press or where am I going to click that it's going to run it and display this text in my console? And that place is here. If you check here at the top, you see this start without debugging. Then this is actually going to debug, right? But for now, since we have not gone into the debugging section or debugging topic, this play button, everyone is seeing this play button, right? This button that looks like a play button.
Yes.
Good. So once you have written down or maybe you've written down what you want to test and all, this is your go-to to see what you have written down there, if it's actually what you see, okay? So once you're writing that down, you come to this play button that is saying start without debugging and you click on it. You click on it and a console GUI, graphic user interface, will display, right? Which is this. And this is it now. Hello world. Like I said, console.writeLine is telling the program, hey, write whatever that is within this double quote in the console. Do you understand? Do you get?
Yes.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Then press any key to close down. Once you are done and you want to continue your testing, you can just, it says press any key. So I just need to press any key to close. Then if I want to, whatever you write here, if I want to test that this code is working fine, all I just need to do is run the code, start without debugging, and whatever that is within that code will show here. So this is telling me that the code is actually working fine. Okay? That is console.writeLine. Good. Now the beauty or the difference now between code editor, right, and text editor. Who can give me an example of text editor?
Notepad.
Okay, exactly. Notepad. So let me bring out my notepad here. So I'll show you the difference between, the practical difference between the two. So this is my notepad. This is my notepad, right? Here's the difference between the two. Now I want to type this console. Let me cut that out. I want to type what done. Console.log. Console.log, right? You guys will note the difference. So hello world. You note what you are okay, let's do this. And console.log hello world. And I want to type this same thing. I want to type the same thing here. I want to type the same thing here. What can you see between the two? What's one thing you notice? Let me bring this up first. Right. What's one thing you notice between these two? This and this. What do you notice? I can't see your hand, so just stop. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
Um,
Tombra. Okay. Okay, Tombra, go ahead first. Sorry. I think she raised her hand. Yeah.
Okay, the difference is that, and I don't know if that where we have the hello words called the variable is highlighted in another color.
Okay. All right.
That's
Thank
my
you.
observation.
I mean, I don't know what a variable is, so
I think I got that wrong. But
no. You got yeah. You made mention of what? Just one thing the different. What do you see in the IDE, the Visual Studio IDE, that you are not seeing in the text editor? Yeah, let me put it that way.
it color codes the
Okay, this red color, right?
yes, the color and also where we have the hello world is also in the text are also in colors.
Okay. All right. Samuel, go ahead. Thank you, Tambra.
Yes, she spoke about the color code, and for the code editor is giving us some signals, and why for the text editor is just like a plain written text. Everything is plain written text, but for the code editor is giving us like, okay, for the console there's an underline red there, maybe there is
Okay.
blank, and also at the end of the curly bracket we still have a red line there, but for the text editor it's not giving us any indication at all.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So now, assuming you can actually use your text editor to write code. It's possible you can actually use your text editor to write code, but whenever you make mistakes with the syntax, your text editor will not help you out in spotting the error or the syntax error and all, right? Do you get?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. So in C Sharp, like I said, in C Sharp, when you want to console log or you want to see the output of what you are testing out, the right syntax is what? Capital C, then console what? Dot right line, right? Console dot right line, then open brace, then double quote, hello world. Then at the end, you put a semicolon. At the end, you put a semicolon, right? If you don't put this semicolon, it's the rule in C Sharp is for every statement. This is the statement you have written. For every statement you write, at the end of that statement, it's just like your English. You write a statement. For every statement you write, you must put what? Full stop or question mark or all those punctuation marks, right? Do you get?
Yes, sir.
Good. But for C Sharp, every statement you write, you must end it or suppress it with what? Semicolon, right? If you don't do this, it's going to give you a compile time error. It's going to give you a compile time error. When we go into the different kind of errors you see, I would expose us to what is this compile time error and runtime error and all, okay? But just know that every statement you write at the end, you must suppress it with semicolon. If you don't do this, it's going to flag an error. So the reason why you are seeing this red line is because Visual Studio, right, comes with extension that spots out when a developer, when someone is writing the wrong syntax. Do you get? So assuming as a JavaScript developer, and I'm used to console.log, now I want to start my journey in C Sharp. I'm trying to type that console.log. In my mind, I'm thinking C Sharp is going to support JavaScript syntax, but it's not so, right? So Visual Studio will help you spot the wrong syntax. But if you type this using your text editor, it doesn't come with those extra feature, those extensions that helps to spot out the error and syntax. Is that clear? In case I ask you what's the difference between a code editor and text editor, then you can talk about this feature of it doesn't help to locate errors when there is one or wrong syntax and all. Do you get?
Yes, sir.
Great. Is anyone lost? Please, if you are lost, just speak out. I can come again. Then if you are lost again, then we can hold a night section. That is how I do my things. So there are different patterns in teaching, right? So you go to the first pattern. If everyone is not clear, try it a different way. If their village people still no agree, then the night class, they must agree. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
everyone will be carried along. Okay. I want everybody to fall in love with C#. It's a very interesting language, very interesting. And it's, if someone say which one is the hardest, C#, Python is user friendly, but C# is not though. But at the same time, C# requires lots of practice. Like, it's very broad. You need so much practice just to master the syntax. I don't expect you to cram it though. You don't need to cram the syntax. All you can do for a start is maybe have a note like I did. I had a note that just writes down the correct syntax, so that maybe if I want to type console.writeLine and I forget it, I could just go to my notes and write it. You don't need to cram. It's okay to have somewhere, maybe a notepad that would write the correct, or it stores the correct syntax, C# syntax and all. Is that clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir.
great. Good. So console.writeLine. So now I want to show you the difference between this. When you created the solution, there was a part that prompted us to choose do not use top level statement, use top level statement, right? Right. I'm going to show you difference between this and choosing that particular option. So what I'll do is I want to create another console app. I want to create it. So I'll select the console app. So this one will be 2. This is going to be console app 12. Let me use console app 12, same solution name. Then I'll click next. Then do not use top level statement. Now I want to uncheck this. You see the difference, right? You not use. I want to uncheck that so that you see the difference between the two. And I'll tell you the reason why this is better than the other one. So create this. Then who can spot the difference between this and that? Let me bring it into. So what's the difference between this and the other one? Okay, let me open it. Can someone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let me open the other one first. So that I think you can actually open it here. Okay. All right, Samuel, go ahead.
Okay, for the first one, well, we have like an ordered list whereby we have the namespace, which is like the folder, and the class, the program as in the class, which is like the files that is arranged, it is set in orders, and we have the program language, which is console.writeLine. While for the other one, those are discarded, and it's just
Okay.
like the simple form of writing console.writeLine and the hello world straight away.
Okay, all right. Now, great, thank you. Now, in programming, right, there are different ways, or in programming, yeah, there are different ways we can achieve the same result, right? Someone can, it takes Tombra 10 lines of code to implement the addition of 2 numbers, and it's going to take 3 lines of code for Emmanuel to achieve the same result. Okay, so what am I saying is this: these two, they are the same, right? For this one that is not using this top level statement and all, is behind the scene, Visual Studio has already encapsulated or hidden this whole logic so that maybe when you create your solution, you don't need to be seeing all these lines of code, because behind the scene, that has been taken care of, right? It has been taken care of behind the scene. So that is why I prefer using this. They are actually the same thing, but I prefer this one because it's neater than this. Do you understand? But in your mind, just know that behind the scene, there is this code syntax behind the scene. It is there hidden. When we go into encapsulation, where some logic shouldn't be visible for the users because it's not relevant, right? We all know what they do. Program, main, entry point. So, I mean, this is it's neater because it doesn't have so many lines of code like as in this, okay? It does the same thing, but behind the scene, this logic has been taken care of. So all we just need to do is just start writing your code and all. That's all. That's just the difference between the two. Okay. Right? Is someone lost?
Sir, does it mean, sorry, I didn't raise
All
my
right, go
hand.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay, does it mean that this second one now, this code that is up here,
This one
that
here.
yes, those
Okay.
comment code and all
No,
that, does
yeah.
it mean that you're not going to remove it? You just start putting your console and the logic.
Yes, from line 2. Just from line 2,
So
start
nothing like
testing.
namespace
That
and
has been
start
taken
with.
care of. Like I said, this place has been taken care of behind the
Oh,
scene. So they are
okay.
trying to hide these lines that is not needed, right? So this
Okay.
now, this your console dot write line is like just this line 9, right? They have
Okay.
made this invisible, so you don't need to see it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to use this for now. Let me close this. Let me close this. Okay. All right, let's proceed. There are other, let's see. Okay, great. What else? So if you check at the top now, okay, Daniel, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Sorry, good evening.
Yeah, good evening,
I,
good night.
I just wanted to understand the difference between this window and the one you just closed. Is the difference that at that point where you checked start with high level, some I've
Mm,
forgotten.
yeah.
O- Okay. So if we don't check that, it will start with this window that we have now.
Yeah, it's going to start with this one, yes. But if you choose that one, it's going to show you the boilerplate for
Right.
the they are still the same thing, but this actually encapsulate or hides that boilerplate behind the scene. So we could just see only the program. This is the program. This is what we are saying. Do you
All
get?
right. All right. Yeah, understood. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Now we're able to test our code, which is this play button here. Next is what these different tabs, what do they do and what do they mean, right? So we start with the file. We start with the file. So it's just your folder, creating a folder, creating a file. It's just the same way, same pattern. So if you want to create a new project, right, instead of you closing and going to your Visual Studio to start it all over again, you can actually come here to your file and create a new one, or you can open an existing project or solution, or if you want to clone a repository, you can do that here, or start a window is more like open another window, right? You can do that. Then add new project. If you want to add a project to this existing solution, right? This is console app 12. is the solution, right? So assuming I want to add another project to this solution, I could just come here and click new project and select what kind of project do I want to use. I'll still want to use console app and give it a name, maybe console app 2. Then once I'm done with naming, I create next. Do not use top level statement. Yes. Okay. Then create, and you see this. So I have what? Console app 1 and console app 2. So I have 2 projects all inside this solution. See now, see what I was explaining. Solution console app 12 has what? 2 projects, which is console app 12 and console app 2. Who is confused? This might confuse some people. Someone confused? Can
Yes,
I
sir.
proceed?
So when you rated the first project, it was C sharp
Okay, I
something
opened a
something.
different. Don't worry, let me open the other one. Don't worry, so that it won't confuse someone. Don't worry, it's fine. Okay, let me open this one. Yes, so that it doesn't confuse Ede. Okay, this is the one, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. So C# practice is the solution that has one project, and I want to add another project. We have one of one. Good. So I just come here and new project, console app, give it console app 2. The folder is okay. Then come here, create, everything is fine. .NET 8, everything is okay. You don't need to bother yourself about this for now. I've not used it before, so don't need to bother yourself this. So create, this is it. So now we have what? How many projects? 1 and 2. 2 projects, right? Inside one solution. So you are asked to build hospital management system. First of all, you create a solution and you create a project that handle different things. So this first project could handle the doctors, these other ones could handle the patients, the other ones could handle the nurses. Like, that's how you structure your project, your solutions and all, by using projects. Okay, great. Then start live section. If you want to do pair programming with your friends, whereby you want to be able to write a line of code online, like, yeah, you can actually do that. Join live section. So save program, like once you have written and you want to save it, you can click here. But I hardly use this. So the normal way is you write something, and if you want to save, just like your Microsoft Doc or your Google Docs, you just do Control S, it saves, right? Or yeah, Control S to save. Or maybe you have written something here. Let's say you space, right? You gave it a space. This um this icon here is telling you that the latest change you have made is not yet saved. Note this. The latest change you have made is not yet saved. So if I click on Control S, watch what happens. It turns to green, saying that it has been saved. This file is saved. Do you understand?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So just take note of that. So there is a whole lot. You can just play around with them. I'm not going to explain all of them, just for you to test it out. Then when you get stuck, you can drop it on the group. Then edit is more like you want to edit something in the file, right? You can just play around with them. Yeah. I don't need to talk about most of them, but just know that the edit has to do with it's just like your Google Docs or your PowerPoint where you have the file, you have the edit. It does the same thing. Okay. Then view. So view is more like, yeah, okay, let me talk about this part, part. Yeah is known as where you see your solution, and the list of projects you have is known as the solution explorer. So if I were you, I'll be writing this terms. Yeah, I'll be writing them down. The solution explorer is what displays the list of all your projects you have, right? All the projects you have. The solution explorer is that, which is here. If you come here, you see this solution explorer. This is displaying all the projects that is opened, and that, okay? Solution explorer, take note of that. But you might have installed yours and you are trying to locate the solution explorer, right? Assuming you installed yours and you can't see the solution explorer. Okay, let me remove it first. So I've removed them. Let me remove this one. Let me remove this one. Let me just remove all of them first. Okay, assuming this is empty. I don't have, you are trying to locate solution explorer. I can't see any. So your go-to first is you come to the view. This is actually it's more like allowing you to display, like you want to see things that is being done, right? So assuming you are looking for your solution explorer and you can't see it, or some other tabs you can't see, you just need to come to your view and check for it here. So once you see the solution explorer, you click on it and it gets displayed there. But I know for some front-end guys that are used to having their solution explorer at the left-hand side, I could just decide to drag this here and keep it here. I could decide to keep this stuff here, which is still fine. I can keep it here. It can be here, right? You can decide to keep it here, or if you want it to be in the right, yeah, you can take it to the right. I prefer my own being at the right. So all these are just normal things to play with. Okay, I don't want to bore us with all this. Just test it out. Yeah. If you have question, ask so. All right. And then just play around with them. Yeah. Play around with them. Okay. Git, yeah, to manage the Git interface. This is to manage your Git flow, where you create the repository, you push, you pull, and all. So when we reach the topic where we are going to talk about version control, then this will all make sense. This tab makes sense to you. Then project, yeah. Project is where you want to add a class to this particular project. You want to add a class. So what I mean is this is console app project, right? Like I said, every file you create is actually what? Who can remind me? Every file you create is what?
A
A
class.
class.
A class. So in this project, console app 1, how many class do I have?
Just one.
One.
Great, which is program.cs. So assuming I want to create another class, right? I could just come here. I could either come here to project and add the class and maybe give it, this is the class, right? Stuff here. Give it a class 1. Give the name class 1 and add it. Once I do that, I have, how many class do I have now?
Two.
2.
2, right? So,
Yes.
or is either I do it that way, I come to the project, or I just need to come to the project and right click. You right click, then you go to add. This is add. Then you come here and select the class. It does the same thing. Okay. So
Yes,
just
sir.
play around with it, play around with it. So that's what the project does. Then the build to build your solution. Don't worry, we'll talk more about this in our upcoming class. Then debug is for debugging. Just don't worry, everything will make sense. Okay. Testing to, you have written down all the test case for your project and you want to run all your tests. This is where you go to analyze tools. You will not get to use all of them, sha, but just be exposed to it. Then extensions, windows, help, and or just play around with it. Yeah, it's very interesting. Visual Studio, you enjoy it more when you practicalize it, and just make mistakes, test things out. That's a way to learn. Okay. All right. What else do I need to cover? Yeah, if you check at the bottom, this bottom, you see error list. You check down at the bottom left corner, you see error list. This is going to display the errors you're having in your code. So meaning if I maybe type something and maybe I type and there is an error here. Who can tell me that error? What is the error?
The
The
semicolon is
semicolon.
not, it's
No
not,
semicolon. Yeah. So that error will show here. It's going to show you. So what is this? One thing you should learn how to do is learn how to interpret the statements you see in your error UI, right? So in your error UI, it's telling you that semicolon expected. So this is telling you that you are actually missing. Okay, let me explain this here. This is very important. Over here, you see code, which is this. You see the description saying semicolon expected. Then if you come to the right side, it's telling you where to locate this particular error. So it's actually located in project console app 1, which is the current project here, right? Console app 1. Then the name of the file. This is helping you to, this is another interesting feature of Visual Studio. It's helping you get where the error is, okay? So project is located in console app 1. Then the file, the name of the file is what? Project.cs. This is where the error is. Then it's also telling you the line number, right? It all makes sense, right? So we have line 9. So if you come to your file, your code now, where is that error happening? Same line 9. Do you get?
yes, sir.
Sir.
Great. Or if you don't want to stress yourself going through that route, and or you can actually do this. Maybe you have written something and you come to your error and you don't have time to look for the, maybe you are trying to locate, because in big applications, you would have over 1,500, 200 projects that has been created. And imagine the stress trying to locate project A. You see that stress now. If you don't want to go to that route, all you can just do is just come here, double tap on the error, and it's going to take you straight to that file that has the error. So once I double tap, it takes me to where that error is, that same line. And all I just need to do is just to add the semicolon. That's all. Okay,
Okay, sir.
great. The developer PowerShell is like your command prompt. Yeah, it's like your command prompt. So if you don't want to make use of your command prompt, you can use the developer PowerShell to run your Git commands and all. Okay. So that's just that manager console. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. So I don't want to overwhelm us with so much information. So we'll just end there for now. Any question? Just play around with it. Yeah, that's what I would do. Any question? Hope no one is confused. Is someone confused? The class is quiet though. It means it's confusing though. Let me know. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
Precious Steve. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the developer PowerShell, I can't see it on my
Okay, look
end.
at it here. Okay, you can't see it. Now, whenever you check for a tab and you can't see it, all you just need to do is go to the view. That is the first place. Go to view, right? Inside the view, locate other windows. It should be in other windows. Okay, other windows. Then if it's not there, check the toolbars. You should see it somewhere. Wait, let me check there again. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, let me check the windows first. It should be in either them or there. Okay. Okay, look at it. It's at tools. If you come to tools, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
If
I
you
can
check
hear
the
you.
tools, then come to command line. Yeah, it's under I think they have worked on this. It's under command line category. Then you just need to select what developer command prompt or developer PowerShell.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you could just decide to drag that to the bottom. You want it to be there or wherever. All right. So any question, any other question before we wrap? I hope no one is confused. Is it clear? Are we all good to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So, in the absence of no question, thank you so much for today's class. And please do well to practice. It's very, very important you practice. Just try it out. Make mistake. If you encounter bug, drop the message on the group. I'm honestly, I'm very, very happy if I'll be very glad and be the happiest person if as a developer, one thing I love about this is solving problems. I enjoy solving problems and helping people out, right? So if you drop any this thing on the Discord stuff, I'm always happy to help out. If you like, drop it around 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. If I'm awake, I would always be there. I would assist and all. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't try to struggle doing things yourself. If you try it, it doesn't work, just reach out. Okay. If I can't help, then Emmanuel or Ede or Precious can help out, or Tombra can help out. They are senior devs. You guys are senior devs. All right.
So I did not hear you.
You know the other part. Senior dev, you heard
Huh?
me. Yes. Yeah, you heard me, senior dev. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. See you all on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday next week. Do have a wonderful day.
All right, sir.
All
Thanks
right,
so
thank
much for today.
Yeah,
God
thank
bless you.
you. Yeah,
Thank you,
goodbye.
sir.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you.
They said
Goodbye.
this guy don't decode bad. This guy don't they ask question. He just did here. I want so yeah, sorry, I was not talking to you, I was talking to someone.